We're joined now by John Hanna, Senior Fellow at the Jewish Institute for National Security of America, also National Security Advisor to former Vice President Dick Cheney. John, it's great to have you. So, as Libby outlined there, in Iran, the president has pledged to protesters that help is on the way. We've heard him say that. You had Republican Senator Lindsey Graham this week saying an attack on the regime is, quote, the only help that really matters. The State Department also putting more sanctions on several entities in Iran. So what are your thoughts on, as Libby outlined, the president's obvious hesitancy to attack, and then the impact of these newly imposed sanctions as well?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Listen, I'm troubled by how quickly the president came out. His threats against the Iranian regime started on January the 2nd, in which he said if they started killing the protesters, America would come to the rescue and that we were locked and loaded. Well, 2 weeks, down the road, thousands have been killed. That red line was crossed many, many days ago. You had Iranians unarmed who were emboldened, thinking the strongest country in the world had pledged to come to their rescue if the regime started shooting and killing protesters. And yet now thousands have been killed by the regime's own admission. So it could be up to the tens of thousands that have been killed, while America so far has stood aside and not done anything. The president still may act. We're flowing forces into the region. But I find, it's deeply problematic morally, if not strategically, for the United States, the commander in chief, to threaten to save and rescue these people. And yet thousands have been mowed down, and we haven't fulfilled that promise. Better to not have made that promise at all, in my opinion.
Well, let's talk about the strategy here, because we know military involvement on the U.S. side remains controversial. It's risky for quite a number of reasons. There are also a number of other options on the table as well. You have information warfare, economic cyber moves that could, in fact, accelerate the collapse of the regime's banking system. Why do you believe the president is so hesitant to go in with boots on the ground? What are the biggest ticket items there, and any further actions you think he may be weighing at this hour?
Well, the reason not to contemplate another war in the Middle East is pretty obvious. The United States has had a terribly difficult time over the last 20, 25 years with ground wars in the Middle East. President was elected largely because he promised to get us out of those kinds of endless wars. The president is more enthusiastic about kind of one and done, sharp military strikes that are completed quickly and achieving a discrete mission. But bringing down one of the most ruthless dictatorships in the world through airstrikes is just not a feasible plan. I wish the president had realized that before he started threatening to intervene militarily. In part, he didn't have the necessary military assets in the region. Those allegedly are now flowing into the region that give the president an option if he wants now, late in the day, after the fact, after thousands have been killed, to still strike and some punishing blows against the primary organs of repression in the Iranian regime, that is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and their internal security police known as the Besiege. He could hit their barracks, their headquarters. He could go after leadership targets like the Ayatollah Khamenei and the military command and really degrade their capabilities in preparation for the next round of protests, which are almost inevitable because this regime has, in fact, lost all credibility and legitimacy with the vast majority of the Iranian people.
John, we're unfortunately out of time, but I do want to ask you, yes or no, do you think military involvement, boots on the ground, I know you said strikes wouldn't be sufficient in this scenario. Would you support that? And do you think we'll see it in the near future?
I wouldn't support it, and I don't think the American people would support it. That's the most important thing, that the president needs the backing of the American people if he's really going to go in on the ground, which I don't believe he's considering at all.
Understood. John Hanna, great to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.